Hello. Bonjour. I've been going to church a lot lately for the art, the architecture, the history, the decorative flourishes, to get out of the rain, to have some place to hang out, what with museums and cafes closed during this phase of the pandemic. I'll call a friend and say, hey, you want to meet at church? Oh, we take off our hats when we go inside. It's the polite thing to do. I'm not Catholic, but out of respect. I respect the sign that says to remove my hat, and the priests and worshipers respect that I'm not there for worship. Just looking. Mutual respect. You see, most of the churches in Paris that are worth visiting are actually public property. They don't belong to the church. They belong to the city, to Parisians. They're our churches. Of course, you know that already since you've read the article that accompanies this video. You know that as a result of the law of 1905 concerning the separation of churches and the state, as it's called, the city of Paris owns a whopping 96 religious buildings. 96, including 85 churches, 9 Protestant temples, and 2 synagogues, all property of the city. While Notre Dame, as the cathedral, is property of the state. Praise be the secular republic. Not that the city or the state care about your soul. Instead of eternal damnation, Paris's fate is endless restoration. Most of the city-owned churches and temples, along with some others, are listed in the Guide des Visites d'Église, the Guide to Church Visits in Paris, put out by a Catholic organization. It lists churches and temples that offer free guided tours, whether rarely, occasionally, or often. The title's in French, but the listings, there's a brief description of each, are also in English. The booklet's available free at the Paris Tourist Office and in lots of churches. Hey, while I have you, how about visiting some of these churches with me? No need to get dressed. No need to have faith. I'm tolerant. Let's go. The image on the cover comes from a chapel of Saint-Étienne-du-Mont behind the Pantheon, which contains a relic and the sarcophagus of Saint Genevieve, patron saint of Paris for Catholics. This is Saint-Germain De Pre. Let's lift our heads, if not to the heavens, then at least to the ceiling to admire the brilliant 19th century decorative paintings that have been restored recently. For 6.4 million euros. In Saint-Sulpice, here are murals at Delacroix painted in the 1850s, with Jacob wrestling the angel, St. Michael slaying the dragon overhead, and Heliodore being chased from the temple, Delacroix. Here in the apse of Saint-Séverin, a 5-minute walk from Notre Dame, check out the twisted central pillar and the late 15th century forest of supporting branches overhead. Here we are at the Madeleine, and I don't know about you, but I find the towering statuary there spooky. But the organ's quite beautiful. At Saint-Roch, near the Tuileries Garden, there's an exuberant abat-voix, as it's called, above the pulpit, and a plaque honoring the Comte de Grasse, whose decisive actions as a naval commander in the Chesapeake Bay led to the French-American victory at Yorktown in 1781. And this one honors André Le Nôtre, France's most famous garden landscaper. And if you sneak into the Chapel of the Calvary, you'll see these folk. Saint-Eustache, a personal favorite, be sure to put it on your list next time you're in Paris, is a massive church requiring massive restoration that looked all tuckered out about a decade ago, but has come a long way since. It houses one of my favorite church sculptures, a cartoonish work of 1970 by Raymond Mazon, called The Departure of Fruits and Vegetables from the Heart of Paris, February 28th, 1969, the date the city's central food market, Les Halles, closed. And here's the tomb of Colbert, Louis XIV's top minister. and an altarpiece by American artist Keith Haring, made shortly before his death in 1990, a gift to the city of Paris. Sainte Margarite, a little visited church in the 11th arrondissement, is full of surprises. A Trumpler Chapel, a close array of large works, soldiers of the First World War in stained glass, and this violent scene. I hadn't been to Saint-Gervais behind City Hall for a while, so being there felt like a great discovery last week. When you go there, just keep your eyes open to details, and more details. I like these angels a lot, but to get a closer look, I would have had to go to confession. And I must confess, that is not for me. In Saint-Odile, an Art Deco-style church in the 17th arrondissement, with its tremendous altarpiece from the mid-20th century, consisting of 7 panels by enamel master Robert Barriot. I could go on, but like this dog I met at Mass the other day, I am all churched out for now.